punishing the least well-off in our city.
Well, I guess then they will be punished at the ballot box if what you say is true. Now, May 2022 is when the next election is, local elections, Councillor. What happens on the morning after if the Conservatives get power?
Well, if we take control of council in 2022, we'll be scrapping Labour's travel tax so that private vehicles aren't charged to come into Birmingham.
So that means on the next morning, what you're going to do is just switch all the cameras off?
Well, it'd have to go through the process of how it happens, so it'd have to go through a cabinet decision, because you can't undo a cabinet decision without taking it through the cabinet process. So it wouldn't be quite as instantaneous as the next morning, but as soon as we're able to, we'd be scrapping it. And we'll be having that on our manifesto.
So you will be electioneering with the manifesto. Well, that will be one of the top items that you will be scrapping this, and it is contentious, this polarising, and we can get this now confirmed on air that if the Conservatives are successful in 2022, first thing you're going to do after council meetings, and I get that, is you're going to scrap the whole thing.
Absolutely, we'll be scrapping Labour's travel tax on private vehicles. At the last elections, we brought forward a clean air plan. The only political party in Birmingham that did. We'll be doing the same this time to deliver genuine clean air, not tax brummies.
OK, and let's just continue. You are then going to plant all of these green walls throughout the city, yeah?
Absolutely.
OK, Councillor, what about all the dough that's going to go to waste, sir?
Sorry?
What about all the money that, in hindsight, will be wasted with all of this technology? And don't forget, Labour are under pressure from Europe and by proxy central governments that if they don't clean the air, there's a multi-million-pound fine.
Absolutely, and that's why it's so tragic that they're ploughing ahead with a plan that their own model shows won't deliver compliance in time. They've had tens of millions and they could have spent it on green infrastructure to actually deliver clean air. If they genuinely cared about the people suffering from air pollution in a city, that's what they'd do.
Just while we have you in a mood for breaking news live on the air, Robert, would you almost suggest, without putting words in your mouth, there's 11 months between June the 1st and the May elections. What's your message to the Labour administration within those 11 months? And I'm just thinking maybe whether voters now will have this at the top of their mind when they cast their ballot.
Well, absolutely. I've no doubt voters will be thinking they were told by Labour last time that we were lying when they said they'd introduce charges, and now Labour are introducing charges. I would plead with the Labour administration, please put the people suffering from air quality first, the least well-off in society who can't afford to upgrade their car first, and choose a different plan. They don't have to do this travel tax, and they should scrap it.
OK, let me just play you a little bit of a clip from Harriet Edwards, Policy Manager at Asthma UK and the British Lung Foundation. And by the way, Robert, I suffer with asthma, and my asthma has got worse post-lockdown. Here we go. Here's Harriet Edwards.
We just need to make sure that policymakers stick to it now, because more delays is just so disappointing. It just leaves more people who live and work and go to school in the city centre having to breathe in toxic air that is putting their health at risk. We know that air pollution is a health emergency and it requires urgent action now.
Councillor, I would suggest that if we had Harriet on the line and I said, well, Robert Alden's going to plant a load of trees and a green wall, I think she would have dismissed that.
Well, I think what she's highlighted there is that the council needs to sort air quality so that people who suffer from asthma, suffer from respiratory diseases, can get the respite that they need. That's why we need a plan that actually delivers clean air in Birmingham. Labour's plan, their own modelling shows, doesn't deliver compliance in time, and they're failing the people of Birmingham by not putting it aside and choosing a plan that works.
Can I thank you for your time, Councillor Robert Alden, Leader of the Opposition? And that's some breaking news for you. Not quite day one, but if the Conservatives are successful in May 2022, in the next election, they are going to scrap. In fact, that's what they'll be electioneering on their manifesto. They are going to scrap the clean air zone. When we